Hello, today we're going to proceed with Barron's Essential Words for IELTS, Unit 5, Text 3. So, text calls how drugs are studied. And on the left hand side we have this text, and on the right hand side we have questions related to this text. Let's read the task. Answer the questions about how drugs are studied. Questions 1 to 4. The reading passage contains 9 paragraphs from A to I. Which paragraph discusses the following information? Write the correct letter A from A to I. So first of all, let's read the first sentence, and let's highlight the keywords. First, drug tests have involved growing biological material in a laboratory. Let's highlight keywords. It's growing biological material and a laboratory. So let's focus. In case of biological material, could be some synonyms could be used. In case of laboratory, I don't think that there are any synonyms which could be used in the text. Let's scan our text on the left hand side, and let's try to find any information about laboratory. So in the first paragraph A, there is no information about laboratory. Let's go further. On the text B, we have some information about laboratory. Let's highlight this keyword. And further, since we have this word here, let's scan it quickly, and let's try to find any information about biological materials. So here they were saying about organisms such as viruses and the fungi. So this is biological material basically. Let's read this sentence. Then they manufacture compounds or take them from organisms such as viruses and the fungi, and they test them in laboratory cultures. So basically the answer to the first question is gonna be B. So let's highlight here, and we know that we already chosen B. Let's put here like a B. Okay, let's read the second sentence. Investigations of the effects of drugs on animals. So here we have to highlight keywords. Okay, so the effect of drugs on animals. So something about drugs and their effect on animals. So let's try to find any information about animals here. We chosen B, we scanned A, we couldn't see anything about animals here. Let's scan further, and let's try to find any information about overall about animals or some kind of animal, because it's tricky, we know. IELTS is a tricky test, and you have to be very careful about that. So let's try to find information about animals. So here they were saying about drugs and animals. They were saying about testing of these drugs in animals. Let's read the text. The next step involves testing the drug in animals. Scientists look at how much drugs absorb into the bloodstream, how it distributes to different organs, how quickly it is excreted or leaves the body, and whether it has any toxic effects or byproducts. So basically the first sentence is more than enough, and we know that this is just about testing on drugs. So the answer to this question is gonna be C. Okay. So let's go further. Third one, studies to determine how safe a drug is and how much a patient should take. So about the safety of these drugs, and about the patients, how much patients should take of it. So let's go further. We know this is answer to our previous one, and here let's scan. We even scanned here before, and we know that answer is not here. We don't have any information here about the patients and about the safety of these drugs. So let's scan further, and let's try to find any information about safety and about patients. So we can't see anything about. So here, let's see here. We do not have anything about safety and about the patients. Let's scan further, and here there is information about volunteers. They were saying about the experiment in order to ensure that it's safety and about this appropriate dose range and about the dosing range. Dosing range is actually a synonym to the sentence how much a patient should take it. So there is information about the dose of it and about the experiment on that small group of patients which they've done. So answer to the third question is going to be F. Let's highlight it. Let's read the first sentence. Studies to monitor how well a drug fights a disease. How well a drug fights a disease. They were trying to find it out how a drug fights a disease. So let's scan further, and on the following paragraph, here they were saying about information about disease. Let's read this text. Phase 2 clinical trials test several hundred volunteers to determine how effectively the drug combats the disease being studied. Combat is actually fights. So this is a synonym which they've used in the text. So answer to the question G is gonna be 4 is gonna be G. So in case of sorry. It's gonna be G. In the third one we had answer if. I'll just put it that way. Okay, so let's go further. Questions 5 to 7. Choose the correct letter A, B, C, or D. Let's read the fifth question. Drug tests on animals look at. So here we have the drugs is absorbed by the body. Effective drugs is for chronic conditions. How well the drugs prevent the disease from recovering. How quickly the drugs elevates the disease. So drug tests on animals look at. So let's highlight this keyword animals. So we know in the previous questions we had a paragraph which contains information about the test on animals. Unfortunately, it happened and happens still. So we know that it's here, and we already highlighted these keywords here about animals. And let's read this text, and let's try to find some information about how it was done, that test to animals, and to try to answer to the fifth question. So scientists look at how much drug is absorbed into the bloodstream, how it distributes to different organs, how quickly it is excreted or leaves the body, and whether it has any toxic effects or byproducts. Researchers usually test at least 2 animal species because the same drug may affect species differently. So here we were saying about the way it's absorbed into bloodstream, and it's absorbed by the body. So basically bloodstream's body. So answer to first question is going to be A. Let's read the sixth question. During phase 2 clinical trial study, participants are monitored for all of these features. So here keywords is phase 2. And then we know when we were reading the text, we had a phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. So answer to our sixth question is going to be in this paragraph. So let's read this text. Phase 2 clinical trials test several hundred volunteers to determine how effectively the drug combats the disease being studied. These trials continue to evaluate safety, side effects, and the optional dose. Phase 2 studies and also last for 6 months to 1 year. So they were studying side effects. So answer to the sixth question is gonna be possible side effects is gonna be D. So let's go further. After a drug is deemed safe and effective, a drug company may do further tests to a certain something. So here as I was saying about drug companies, you know guys, we already scanned all of these texts and we know that there is no information about drug companies here. Let's go further and try to find some information about drug companies and what exactly they do further. So in this last paragraph, there is some information about drug companies. Let's read this text. Once a drug passes the first 3 phases and is found to be safe and effective, drug companies may apply for the right to market the product. After drug is approved and on the market, phase 4 trials may investigate longer-term effects in different groups of patients, such as the elderly, or use of the medication for different conditions, such as using cancer drugs to treat AIDS. So they were saying about they have an approval to sell it for the market, and but they continue to do testing. But why? They want to see the possible effects over the time. So answer is gonna be B, because they proceed to do this all of testing on the patients of different ages, and they want to see investigate long-term effects. This is answer to our 7th question. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will try to film more and as soon as possible as I have time. Have a good day. Good luck with your IELTS exam. So bye.